Hi, have a nice evening. My name is Putra Azra Sofia binti Nasr Maimin, and I'm today's moderator. We are going to speak about heritage preservation today. Our group would like to discuss about Efumosa. Efumosa is more than just a tourist stopover. Efumosa, which was built in 1511 and formerly spanned a whole hillside, is now reduced to a single gate. It is located next to the Istana Kesultanan on Jalan Kota and is one of the earliest remaining European architecture relic in Asia. Formosa is possibly Malacca's well-known tourist attraction. The fort, which was built by Alfonso, is now a crumbling whitewashed gatehouse located downhill from Estipol Church. I have a few questions for all the panels. I hope you can answer all the questions. Why should we preserve the place or monument?
Hi, my name is Nur Fatiha binti Idris. Thanks due to the moderator who has asked me this question. Among the reason, Among the reasons we should preserve this historic place is that historic buildings and monuments can provide examples and lessons to the community, especially to teenagers who have a weak spirit of patriotism. Although some of the old buildings only show black events, but if we appreciate the history behind the building and take lesson from the bad events that have happened, we will move forward without repeating the mistakes that have happened by previous societies. Furthermore, all buildings and monuments also play an important role in the education education of the country, especially of students and researchers. Various sciences can be learned by understanding and studying all buildings and monuments. In conclusion, historic buildings are very important in shaping the minds of the young generation in this country, especially towards the appreciation of the heritage and treasures of this country. Historic buildings and monuments are assets that should be preserved and inherited from one generation to another. With the presence of historic buildings, the new generation will be more appreciative and sensitive to the historical development of the country. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next question is, how are historical tourist attractions promoted in Malaysia?
Thanks again to the moderators. As we know, the city of Malacca is also categorized as a tourism sector. The units of the city such as Formosa, Makam Masuri that is full of history is one of the main focus of tourists to vacation there. Back to the question, how are historical tourist attractions promoted in Malaysia? Historical tourist attractions are promoted through the event that occur or founded in that place. For example, museums in Malaysia display various artifacts and historical materials. Residents in the area will also tell the history that took place in the place. This will cause tourists to be curious and interested to know more about the history of the artifact and that will lead to them visiting the historical places. Next, the government and the private sector work together to promote historical places in Malaysia through social media. Therefore, it is clear that historic buildings provide many benefits from a tourism point of view. This is because historic buildings can attract tourists, whether local tourists or tourists from abroad to visit our country. That's all for me.
Thank you, Tia. Such as a good answer. What if there were no monuments?
Thank you. Hi, my name is Nurhaiza binti Kadir. If there are no monuments, a country may not be one of the holiday destinations. This is because, apart from having beautiful places, historical relics are one of the factors that can attract people to visit a country. Every historical relic has a story that may not be available in other countries. This is the reason why tourists come to this country in addition to increasing the country's economic flow. Historical monuments are important in helping to improve the country's economy. Moreover, the absence of any monument in country will cause a weak spirit of patriotism in a person. This is because every relic of history will have a profound effect on everyone to love the country more. The absence of monuments is the reason that the spirit of patriotism is becoming extinct. Losing the spirit of patriotism in a person will affect the nations. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Haiza. The next question for you is, how do we educate our children on heritage preservation?
Thanks again. The way we can educate children to preserve heritage is to tell them about the benefits of heritage sites in Malaysia. Heritage sites in Malaysia need to be preserved in order to improve the country economy through the arrival of foreign tourists. Telling or visiting historical places will create a sense of appreciation for the country as well as an attitude of wanting to take care of the place. Not only that, we can also tell them about how important it is to take care of heritage sites in Malaysia because all this heritage will be one of the reasons tourists come to visit Malaysia. Next, we can also show an attitude of love for our heritage. We need to set a good example for our children because everything that we do will be seen and followed by them. We can also bring the children to visit some historical places to let them learn about the historical relics that have left many traces to this day. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Haiza, for a kind answer. Next question is, What are the steps taken to protect the place or monument?
My name is Janata Charles. I will ask this question. The steps taken to protect the monument. First, limiting our entry to avoid property damage at Efansa. Second, enforce safety to maintain well-being in Efamosa. Third, promoting Efamosa on social media so as not to be swallowed up by the age. And foster provisions under the National Heritage Act 2005, preserving and conserving the national heritage in Efamosa, encourage education to develop and understanding of Efamosa, to know more clearly why the heritage was built and as an expression of history and identity, creates public awareness and support for conservation to ensure the survival of the heritage built in Efamosa. Network cooperation with local and foreign agencies related to Efamosa. And the last one is documents and publish research findings and reference materials related to Efamosa. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. The last question is, what are the agencies involved in heritage preservation in Malaysia?
The agency involved in heritage preservation in Malaysia. First, the Heritage of Malaysia Trust is the leading national heritage NGO with a reputation for excellence in heritage conservation service. Second, Malacca Heritage Trust. The third is WWF, Worldwide Funds Malaysia. And the last one is the Department of National Heritage is responsible for preserving and conserving the country heritage. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tutia, for your kind response. Thank you to all the panels for taking the time to answer some of my questions. I think Efamosa a good place to make heritage preservation for our future. That's all for today. Thank you very much.